caution debris in turn 4.
Both drivers are door to door as they head towards turn 1 and 2. They make contact. Around both of them go.
Incredible race out there tonight, drivers. Thank y'all so much for putting on such a great show for these fans. There was side-by-side action, clean, good, hard racing. Thank y'all so much for what y'all did for these fans. And give them a wave as you come down the front straightaway.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the From the Tower podcast. I'm here with my boys, Logan and Davey. What's up, guys? How are y'all doing tonight?
Pretty good so far. Now that time change has made it brighter later in the day.
Yeah.
Or still light later in the day.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely like the fact that it's still daylight outside at 7 o'clock.
The only thing I don't like about it is it's hotter for longer. And as y'all know, my sweat glands are overactive, so I've had sweat in my eyes all day.
Yeah, you do profusely sweat.
That sounds like a personal problem, honestly.
Yeah.
I'm just happy because we're all busy. We all stay busy
for
throughout
sure.
the week.
Mm-hmm.
This is gonna actually give me time to where I don't have to dedicate my weekends to exclusively doing my yard. I actually have a little bit of time when I get off in the afternoons now, whenever we're not doing something, where I
Right.
can come home, mow grass and stuff like that, and then have a day to relax.
Well, I mean, yeah, but there's one bad thing about it is my wife likes to go shopping whenever there's daylight outside. And now that it's still daylight when she gets off work, I have to go shopping.
It
and
doesn't matter
spend
whether
money.
it's daylight or night. My wife likes to go shopping. We go shopping.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I just have me, or Jaden whenever she comes over.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely likes to shop though. We had to go by Target this weekend after we left Home Depot.
Target's that one hit the wallet hard.
Yeah. She had her own money though, so it helped out a lot. I was like, "That's your budget," and also we're going to the mall tomorrow because she asked for that as well. And I was like, "Make sure you budget appropriately." And she did.
I don't like Target anymore. They don't have any Pokemon cards. I can't get any Pokemon. There's no Pokemon, no NASCAR.
So I went
Dragon Ball
because
Z.
have y'all seen where they're doing the 30th anniversary of Space Jam?
Yeah,
They have a thing for it.
Stuff.
Well, Matt went the other day and he got trading cards from like Space Jam Topps trading cards.
Really?
So I was looking for those while we were there.
Sold out.
Yeah, they were sold out.
Man.
They didn't even have any of the keychains or anything left.
Does it have like a autographed MJ card or anything?
There's an MJ card in it, and you can get like 1-of-1 cards, but they're rare.
Okay.
For sure. Obviously, they're 1-of-1. So.
I got you.
Yep.
Well, boys, this past weekend was the first night of racing at SSR. It was a busy night, pretty hectic.
Yeah.
A lot going on, but overall a good racing night. I feel like
the turnout was really good for an opening weekend.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah, for sure. We did have a couple hurdles we had to overcome. You know, we had rain at one point in the night. Put us about 45 minutes behind. Little oversight on the scheduling.
Yeah.
Just didn't have qualifying on there. Something that, I thought with the new track owners that we may be changing up the process a little bit. And I should have reached out before race night to where we could have got it addressed. But
I mean, even if it wasn't new owners, you still have those opening weekend hiccups. It happens every year at any track that you go to.
Yeah.
I feel like everybody gets so amped up over the off season. They're just ready to hit something whenever they go back out there and hopefully not the wall.
Yeah. The things that were the hiccups, they weren't big hiccups. They were like little small details that are pretty easy to miss, honestly.
Yeah. And there was a lot of things going on. I mean, you got the opening night for SSR of racing, but you got the opening night for new owners, as we talked about.
For sure.
Who I feel like did a beautiful job with the facility, the track, the paint, the inside, the drift course, road course. It all looks beautiful.
Yeah, especially being that, you and I went to the drift event that they had a couple weeks ago out there. Those green and white stripes weren't green and white anymore.
No.
After that drift event, they were black.
They were black.
The entire front straightaway has been repainted. They built a Victory Lane thing that wasn't there a week ago.
Right.
The mural on the wall wasn't there a week ago.
Right.
And it looked to me, and I could be completely wrong, but it looked like that's going to be something that gets added on to.
Yeah, definitely look like there's going to do a little bit more to it or something.
Right.
Well, we talked about it whenever we were primarily doing the podcast from the tower at Sunny South.
Right.
That every time we went down there, it was leaps and bounds on the progress that was being made at that track. And the new owners, they were there every day, so it's like watching a kid grow. If you watch your kid grow every day, you don't really see them grow as quickly as somebody who sees it every now and then.
Right.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
with us, it looked like major steps were being done, and to see it all come together, it was just beautiful.
Yeah.
Something that I thought was really cool was they actually had people walking the grandstands cleaning up
Yes.
actively as the night was going
Absolutely.
on,
Yeah.
to where you don't have those like spilled drinks, stuff like that kind of make the grandstand sticky, stuff like that. I know whenever we came down, had a couple parents that wanted to talk about a few issues that's going to happen, and so just things that need to be addressed at the next race. And whenever we were sitting there wasn't any trash in those grandstands.
No,
I
at
think
the
there
end
was
of
like
the night.
one Coke
There
bottle.
was literally
Right.
one Coke bottle
Yeah.
because we were all sitting there kind of just recapping the night, and I looked and I was like, "There's literally one Coca-Cola bottle sitting right here on the bleacher. There's
Yeah.
no trash on the ground
and there was
or
still
on the bleachers itself."
Coke in it. So like
Yeah.
Yeah,
you can't really consider it trash because somebody
It
was
could've-
probably still drinking it
I
out
should
of
say,
it.
And the
somebody
race
could've
night
just
had
left it.
literally just ended.
Yeah,
Right.
it just ended maybe
They
5
probably
minutes
were going to
before
do a final sweep
right.
of everything, but it had just ended.
Yeah. And so, but like you said, the attention to detail
Mhm.
that they put into the track, the repainting of the stripes, just so that it's fresh for the open at night. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
The sponsorship banners on the back straightaway are now up above the wall instead of on the wall in the kind of grid. I don't even know what to call that, grid pattern holder for signs, maybe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it almost looks like they built like a billboard system almost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so
And it looks
Something
good
kind of
like
like
that,
Mobile
too.
has.
it does look really good.
Yeah.
And the biggest thing is, you don't have to worry about if somebody gets up into the wall, them tearing a banner down.
Right.
I know we had that issue last
Yep.
year where I forget whose banner got torn down, but it mangled it up.
I don't
Yeah.
even remember
I
who
don't
hit the wall
remember.
to tear it down.
Yeah.
But
I don't
I
either.
do
I just
that.
remember like we had a blank spot on the
Yeah,
wall because
yeah.
the banner got tore down.
Yeah.
Um,
But it's
and
up. It's up now above the wall, and,
Mhm.
and it's elevated where everybody can see it, and it won't get torn down like you said.
Yeah.
You-
And a little bit different as far as, whenever you come into the grandstand area, there are a couple of
Sorry.
fences there now. No, you're good. It just kind of caught me off guard.
It caught me off guard.
There are a couple of fences there now to
Mhm.
kind of. I know before, even some people I had brought out with some passes, they were like, "Well, we just got to keep our passes," and I was like, "Well, that's not going to make any entrance fee money."
Right.
And so now you have somebody there checking armbands to where you
Mhm.
don't have people just walking in.
Right.
Not just that, but the flow of traffic is a lot smoother. Like,
Mhm.
so if you want to go to Nancy's Pit Stop Cafe, there's
You have
only
to
one
go
way to do
around,
it, so
yeah.
you're not running into people trying to get to it from the other side or
Right.
whatever.
Exactly.
It's so much smoother of a flow of foot traffic.
Right.
Well,
And
going through there.
and just like you said, you got Sean and Jeremy
Mhm.
is who was there this weekend checking armbands and making sure if we've seen it over the years. People pay for grandstand admission, and then they're just walking in the pits,
Right.
and it's taking advantage of the track at the
Right.
time, right?
Yeah.
You're not supporting your track by cheating it in any
Right.
way.
And
So
the pit pass is a little bit more because you're in a little bit more danger in the pit area.
Right.
Just because there are cars moving around, stuff like that. But you have access to a lot more stuff. You
Mhm.
can go to the parts room, you can go talk to drivers, you can, you know, interact with a lot more people than just the people in the grandstands.
Right.
I will say I did think it was funny. I forget who it was because they moved the entrance to the pits all the way down to the end of the
Right.
turn one wall.
Yeah, it's down there.
And so the guy that was down there checking armbands, he had Eddie, the photographer.
Mhm.
He had him kind of held up for a second because Eddie was like, "I don't have an armband," and I walked by and I was like, "I'll vouch for him. He's good." He's like, "Yeah, he knows me," and
Yeah.
so I just kind of had to let him know, like, "Hey, he's good," and so
Right.
they take their job very seriously, and it's appreciated.
Yeah, for sure. Somebody else to have the back of SSR.
Right.
And a nod to Eddie Ritchie for coming out and
Yes.
helping Ginger, our photographer, Shutterbug Photography, couldn't be
Right.
there this weekend, so Eddie stepped in to give her a hand. Just another notch to the family community of racing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. I've been buying photos from Eddie since probably 2010.
Really.
Whenever he was an official at Mobile forever, and
Mhm.
then he just kind of got into the picture thing, and now I think it's his grandson takes pictures at Mobile, and he's really good also. He took a couple beautiful pictures last year.
I remember going to Mobile as a kid, and I don't remember who sold the pictures.
Gerald
back then.
Hodges.
Gerald Hodges.
Gerald
That's right.
Hodges. I remember the book.
Yeah, had the
Oh,
book,
man,
and he
I
also had
would-
the singles bin too.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I would sit there because down in the pits it was a book right at the concession stand,
Mhm.
and there was a coffee can. It was $1 a picture. I would save up my dollars, and then I would flip through, and anything that had one of Bobby's cars in it, I would buy that picture. and I would make sure I had every picture I could get of Bobby's cars. And Bobby said that whenever he was a kid, they were doing that back in the day, and it wasn't $1 a picture then, but it was something.
Probably 10
And
cents a picture back
Probably either that or like a nickel or something because he's ancient.
Inflation is
Inflation,
crazy.
yeah.
Well, plus he's pretty old,
Yeah.
But he said that what he would do is he would buy as many pictures as he could afford, and then he would take them home and he'd cut the cars out and he would race them. And he said if it was somebody he didn't like, he'd wad it all up and crash the crap out of them. And so I was like, really? He goes, that's what I did. I guess it was like his version of like the
Matchboxes.
164 diecast and
Yeah.
stuff.
It's probably cheaper that way, too.
It was for sure.
I think I still have a bunch of those old pictures in my closet. I went to dig them out,
Mhm.
and we'll have to look through them.
Yeah, for sure.
See if we got some old pictures of Bobby's car for you. I may have some.
I only
It
have
probably
the
is.
big ones of my dad's car.
Really?
But they're hard to come by.
Mhm.
He don't know where they are. He knows where his VHS tapes are, though, and he wants to swap those over to DVDs. So
There's a guy in Pensacola that can do that. I saw.
yeah, I think my dad reached out to him before.
Okay.
I can't remember though, but
I mean, I got a VCR. We can come. I'll bring it over one night.
but
We'll
he
fire it up.
he has been asking me to do that for Father's Day for like 10 years now. I'm like, I don't even know where to look for people to do that.
Yeah, we I know Bobby, he's got an area out in the shop where he built a loft in the shop that we built in '06. First year we ran out of it was '07. We missed the championship by 5 points. I'm still bitter over that, but he built an area up top where
Talk
it's
about
like
holding
his,
grudges.
oh
Jesus
God, I
Christ.
hold a grudge.
That
Dude,
was almost 20 years ago, just shy of it.
we had it up until like 5 to go in that race because we had to win, and Michael Moody had to finish 3 spots behind us, and Bobby's leading, and the car just went away from him, and he got passed by 2 cars. And it was like,
Dang.
ah, man, you just saw it slip away. That's
Yeah.
what made it so bad. We would have won it by 1 point.
Yeah.
And so he's got an area up in the loft to kind of wall it off to where you can't see up there. He built a trophy case, and then he built, it's essentially just 2 sets of shelves on either side of the trophy case. And one of them, he's got all his pictures hung up from like '06 and up. And so I'll walk out there every now and then, just kind of take a look,
go down
Yeah.
memory lane a little bit.
And he's got one section for our 2014 season because we just top 3 gets a trophy now, and we never finished outside the top 3 that year. So it got its own subsection
Gotcha.
whenever he won that championship.
Kind of backpacking off of your dad having his racing memorabilia from whenever he raced. My dad was out in the shop last week, 2 weeks ago, somewhere in there, and he found his first ever racing helmet that he
Yeah.
had whenever he raced. And it was like Dale's. It was the open face helmet, and he can't find none of his race receivers or nothing like that. But he asked me if I wanted his open face helmet. And I was like, no, I'm good. But thinking about it,
I was gonna say you should have took that.
Yeah.
well, it's still in the shop.
Yeah.
So next time I go over there, I might pick it up, and that might be, if y'all want to, we could use it as a centerpiece of the table from the tower.
Oh, yeah,
for
for sure.
future episodes.
For sure.
Because that's old racing history and
Well, and that's what I was
Mobile
gonna say
Skull
too.
there.
Like, if we do, since we're obviously recording this episode, if we do start doing more video, I've got the door off Bobby's '07 car. We could just prop it up or
yeah,
something
but
like
trying
that.
to get that thing upstairs is probably gonna be hard.
No,
I don't.
it's not that heavy.
I don't want to lift it. I'm gonna be honest with you because I do too much lifting at work. I don't want to lift anything else.
Yeah, that's fine.
Whenever I get
No,
off work.
it's literally a skin, so it's not that heavy.
Yeah.
It's not
just
like
the outer
it's the
shell
entire
of the
door.
door.
Yeah. So, because
Yeah.
and that was Sportsman Days. That was
Yeah,
whenever you actually.
yeah.
It's a real G body car door. I think in '07 we were still running the Grand Prix body, and then we cut that entire body off and swapped it for a Regal.
Yeah.
But it is a real 1980s Pontiac Grand Prix door with patches over where the mirror would have went and patches over where the door handle would have went, because that's what you did back then.
Yeah.
You didn't buy a piece of sheet metal and form it to look like a door because there was cars available.
Well, I was going to say we could use the helmet for a centerpiece, sure, but you bring it to the track, you might be able to catch a ride in a drift car. We had the drift exhibition this weekend in intermission. What'd you boys think of that?
I thought it was pretty great.
It was awesome. And JP, I hate to do it to you, bud, but Allie
Dude,
Allie held it good on her last little singles pass.
Yeah.
She held it for a lot longer than I thought she was going to.
Oh, it was
and she
incredible.
put on a incredible show.
they both did. Yeah.
Now-
They both did for sure. But when JP pulled off track and Allie went to town on that drift course, she put on a phenomenal
heck of a show,
right
yeah.
there.
I really liked JP's car though, how it would
Yeah.
shoot the fire out of the exhaust from
Yeah.
under the center of the car.
The
That
fir-
was pretty cool.
The first time it did it, I'm not gonna lie, I jumped because I watched it from the flag
You
stand. I
wouldn't
was like, oh
expect him.
god.
He wouldn't expect him to
Well,
backfire.
And so we went to that kind
Well, I
of
just
drift.
wasn't expecting like the fire to shoot out from underneath
Yeah.
it. So
Well,
that's the part that's scary.
We went to that drift exhibition a couple weeks ago, but I know I was still there during the daytime. I didn't stay till night,
Mhm.
and so I'm sure it probably does that a lot, but you just can't see it
You
during
can't
the
see it.
daytime.
Yeah.
And yeah, completely different experience.
Yeah, I know my kids were there, and I have 3 daughters, 2
Mhm.
sons, and the boys, of course, love racing. The girls, not so much. But I walked down, to check on them during intermission, and Destiny,
Mhm.
my middle daughter, she was like, "Daddy, I'm addicted to drifting now." She's
Well,
like, "I want to learn everything about it."
I've never watched drifting or nothing like that. It never interested me. But after watching it Saturday at the track, I have a newfound respect for it.
Yeah, you didn't
And
even come out of the flag stand. You stayed up
No,
there
you
and
guys
watched
should
the
say
drifting.
you stay there
I,
and watch.
I had the best seat in the house.
I
I
know.
want to come
Yeah.
Oh,
down,
I know. But I know normally during a regular race night, anytime we do intermission, you come out of the flag stand, you come
Yeah.
inside for a
Yeah.
little bit. But Davey disappeared back out of inside and went out there and climbed the tower again.
Well,
So.
I wanted to see what it was, all about and everything.
Mhm.
But like I said, after watching it, I definitely have a newfound respect for it, and I enjoy it now. But like I said, going into Saturday,
It's a
I didn't have nothing for it,
Well, it's a completely different thing to actually see it in person.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just it's the same
Yeah.
with round track racing. People see it on TV and they're like, "Oh, that looks easy," or "That doesn't look that fun." And then you take them to a racetrack and they get to really experience it all, the
Mhm.
smells, the vibrations, the
The atmosphere really makes anything.
Mhm.
Like it's same thing with football. You can watch football on TV all day long, but
Mhm.
until you go sit in the stadium and hear everybody chanting and all that good stuff, that's a whole new game.
Right.
for sure.
And kind of like you said, Logan, I was going to kind of mention, people talk about racing and it looks easy. And then, you watch like NASCAR, right? And they go to Daytona, Talladega, they're 3 wide, 4 wide, inches apart, going 195 miles an hour.
Mhm.
And as far as like JP and Allie Saturday night, they're drifting around the drift track at SSR. I
Inches
mean, they're
apart.
not going super fast. I would just 45, 50 maybe, in that area. And they are inches apart, but they're
And
driving.
sideways.
Yeah, sideways. That's what I was
Yeah.
going to say. Driving a car out of control,
Mm-hmm.
basically. In control, basically control chaos.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
It's sketchy for sure.
Yeah.
The tandem.
they make it look easy.
Yeah.
And that was the thing, is I think a lot of people saw that Saturday night and they were like, "That looks so easy." And there's no telling how many hours, how many caved in doors,
Right.
bent wheels, all kind of carnage they have suffered to be able to get to that comfort level with one another, or get to that skill level of being able to control those cars like that. Because, I know we talked to JP. We're gonna have him on an upcoming episode pretty soon, but
And Allie.
and Allie. And so it's just one of those things that the skill set of the pedal dance they have to do and everything that goes into that. It's not just you lay the hammer on the floor and just drive it out of it.
Right.
It's, popping clutches, it's braking here, hand brake whenever you need to really pitch the car sideways. There's so much more that goes into it than, playing Need for Speed and just holding it wide open.
You press square and you press the R2 and you turn
Exactly.
it.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, for sure.
I don't know about y'all, but if I were to go out there and drift at SSR Motorsports Park, I would have to go ask Abe and Andrew, hey, can y'all remove the inside walls?
Yeah.
Because I'm definitely gonna hurt
I was
myself on
fixing
this.
to
Y'all
say-
got, y'all got that painter on standby? Because I'm going to scuff it up.
I was fixing to say I'd just have a total card probably within 15, 20 minutes. It'd be
Yeah, for
smashed up, smoking.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
The car would be smoking more than the tires ever got a chance to.
Well, like we said, great intermission show
Yeah.
for the SSR fans. I saw a lot of positive feedback on the SSR page about it. A few people, posting about, man, I need to go find a drift car, or how can I get into this? And again, it's just another form of motorsports coming to the track, and it's just going to be positive things and good things
Yeah.
for the track.
Yeah, for sure.
Is all I see for it. But besides the drifting, racing's back. The
Yes.
first night of racing season, we had good racing. We had
We did.
really good racing
In all divisions.
in all divisions.
Yeah. We have I'm really proud of the field of legends that we have now.
Oh, yeah.
We have a huge field of legends. And those kids that moved up, they started the night off strong, even in qualifying.
Oh my goodness.
I'm actually glad you brought that up
Yeah.
because that was something that still what is it, 3-4 days later,
hmm
that still has taken me by shock.
Mhm.
Is that Cameron Mallett qualified pole in the Legends?
Yeah,
That was his, if I'm not mistaken, his first time out at SSR or I
in
don't.
the Legend.
Yeah,
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 I
yeah,
under in competition.
I was gonna say
yeah.
I think he practiced at the
Mhm.
last Sunday
But
practice that
but
they had.
his first time like for a whole race night to
Mhm.
go out there and set pole
Mm-hmm.
in that car, and like I said, he's never raced Legends before.
Right.
Like he went out there for practice, like I said, but
Well,
that's just a huge accomplishment on
Right.
his part.
if I'm not mistaken, our top 5 or top 6 was separated by a 10th of a second.
Yeah,
It
Yeah.
was
In qualifying,
super,
yeah.
super close, really competitive. And Evan Johnson got 3rd place overall. I mean, right behind Carter Taylor and Chase Hart, which
Yeah.
are 2 great
And,
drivers in that division.
and if
then
I'm not mistaken, Bryce Castile
Bryce
Finished
Castile,
fourth.
was right
Yeah.
behind Evan.
Yeah.
Him and
Bryce-
Evan swapped it back and forth.
A
And
lot.
so we had the choose cone in effect. The
Mhm.
choose rule now is in effect. Got to make some changes to that. Something that was an oversight on my part at the beginning of the night. If
Just another one of those little
yeah,
opening weekend hiccups that
Right.
we
well,
got to
that
work
And it's
through.
something new
it's
to
a
the
new
track.
rule.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you kind of learn and you adapt. And so we had a caution early in the first race. I can't remember who it was, but they were able to choose, and they took the outside. So they got right back up to essentially second on the grid. And so as soon as it happened, I was like, we got to go over that in the drivers' meeting. If you cause the caution, unfortunately, you're not going to be able to choose. You're going to
Right.
have to start
You
tailing
start
at
back.
the longest line.
Yeah.
But because I let that one go, I couldn't do that moving forward for the night. I had to stay consistent with what we were doing for the night.
Right.
I talked to a couple parents after the race. They kind of voiced that concern as well. And then I had a phone call with Abe yesterday, and that was something he addressed. And I was like, "Yep, man, I'm already on that one. We're gonna get that fixed to where it's more fair.
Right.
That way you don't have somebody running 7th that spins out, and then they get to choose and they restart 2nd.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And like you said, it's something new to the track. And I saw, besides the couple instances with the person that brought the caution out, a lot of people taking advantage of it
Mm-hmm.
and working out in some of their, at the end in their hands.
Right.
It definitely helped. And it's something to shake up the running order each caution.
Yeah.
It definitely brings excitement.
Yeah.
Instead of just doubling up and re-rolling, it gives a chance for a person to get back up and get in the mix.
Right.
Well, talking about mixing things up, how do y'all feel about the dice roll to see how many laps the Legends run
That's a pretty cool idea.
I like it.
leading into the future?
It definitely makes us do a little bit more math on
It
the
does.
halfway
It does.
side.
Right.
But it's definitely worth it.
Oh yeah,
Sure.
and honestly, I like a little bit longer race because I know we talked to Bryce Castile after the race. I don't know if you were there still, but we
Mhm.
talked to Bryce after the race, and his right rear was worn out.
Yep.
Mhm.
If that race had went to 30,
He would have been slipping.
I don't know if he
Yeah.
would have made it.
Yeah.
And so just based on how he described his tires, and obviously first race out in the car, he's probably driving a little bit harder than he will eventually.
Right.
And so, but it's one of those things that's something I'm looking for is that tire fade at the end of a race to see if somebody's able to manage tires a little bit to then become a player later on in a race. Because we have for the past several years only run 20 lap features.
Right.
We don't know what those tires are going to do running 30, 35 hard laps on them.
Yeah.
And Tim, you said sliding just a few minutes ago.
Mhm.
Going back to Cameron Mallett, that slide in 2 where he saved the car.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Towards,
Amazing save by him.
yeah. And that kind of hindered his finish
Yeah.
a little
That-
bit. He finished 6th, but he was running, I think, 3rd or maybe 4th at the time.
I think he was like 4th or 5th.
Yeah.
I think because Evan and Bryce were right there, 3rd
Right.
and 4th. I think he was right behind them, and then that slide, and that car was wrecked.
Yeah.
That car was wrecked, and he managed to reel it back in, and then he just lost all his momentum, unfortunately, because it was so sideways. By the time it finally like straightened out, he looked like he was crawling.
Mhm.
Again, first race in that car,
Mhm.
and in order to be comfortable enough in that car to be able to save it
Yes.
from completely losing it.
Well, and
Kudos to him.
we talked to Carter Taylor last week on the
Yep.
pod, and he told us about the power to weight ratio of
Mhm.
those cars. They came from a Briggs & Stratton
Yeah.
V-twin engine in the Bandoleros, something that is a You have to spool it up to get the clutch. It's got a clutch on the motor. You have to spool it up to get it going and everything. And it, then you go to something that's got 6 gears in it
Mm-hmm.
and that power to weight ratio to be able to save that car, to be able to hang on to the car the way those kids did was
Yes.
impressive.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, these guys that you're talking about coming from bandos up
Mhm.
to legends.
Look like
Um,
seasoned pros.
yeah,
in the
yeah.
league.
Evan Johnson finished third.
Mhm.
For his first competition in a legend at Sunny South or SSR, I believe.
Yeah, he ran some down in Florida,
Right.
at the Winter Nationals, I believe it was.
That's right.
And so, but wasn't his first laps in the car,
No,
but
in
First-
competition.
Yeah.
a great first showing at his home racetrack.
Yeah,
Yep.
for sure. So he had Evan Johnson finish third, Bryce Castile fourth,
Mhm.
Mason Robinson fifth, Cameron Mallett sixth, Mason Massey seventh. All those guys were in bandos last year.
Right.
Jumps up to legends this year, and I mean
It
they
made
all
a statement.
they all did. I
Mhm.
mean, like we said, Cameron Mallett.
Mhm.
When we first got there, was looking at the track, and we were kind of just chit chatting before the race night, like we always do, talk about stuff. And he come up and looked at the fence, and I was like, "How you feel about the car tonight?" And he was like, "If I can get it through 1 and 2, I'll be okay."
Yeah.
And the kid goes out there and sets fast lap for the night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy.
You know what I mean? So
And I was standing right there beside you, and he kept saying he was nervous.
he was
Yes.
very nervous. He
And-
kept saying he was nervous, but
and then to go set fast time, that was
no,
it was crazy. There's
Yeah.
no way that he could have been as nervous as he
Well,
was.
and it was really
making
cool
himself out to
because
be.
the 4 kids you mentioned, they all wound up, 4 of the new kids,
mhm.
they all wound up in the same group in qualifying. We
Mhm.
do our group qualifying where they go out there and they make laps. They've got, I think we did 10 laps total
Yeah.
Mhm.
for
Yeah.
each group to give them a time to get a fast time out there.
Right,
And so that entire group was in bandos last year.
right.
And they all wound up out there together. And then we had what we thought was going to be our 1, 2, 3 fast time of Carter Taylor, Chase Hart, and then Trace Capers
Yeah.
made his start back out there.
Right.
Pro
Back in a
Truck
legend.
champion, back in a legend car.
Mhm.
And so we really thought that group that came out last of those 3, I thought they were going to set top
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, just because of their experience level and everything. And really just a shock
Mhm.
overall for them not to be the fastest.
Yeah, for sure. And we'll just go over real quick the finish in order. Like you said, Carter Taylor,
Mhm.
who was on the pod last week, talked about how he drives the legend and everything, and he backed it up. He went
Yeah.
out there and won the thing.
Yeah.
They did.
But it was not an easy task. He had
No.
Chase Hart right behind him
Yeah.
Chase Hart was on his bumper.
the
Yeah.
entire
Yeah.
race. Yeah, he had to. I mean, you could tell he was trying to get away a little bit, but he had to race very defensively too.
Yeah.
Yes. It definitely looked like he had changed his lineup.
Mhm.
It looked like Chase may have been a little bit faster in 3 and 4.
Very. Yeah.
And so Carter was a very defensive line, looked like going into 3.
Right.
So it was kind of cool to watch. And then that lap count thing we were talking about kind of, I think, played a factor there at the end because it looked like those last 5 laps, Chase's car started to fade a little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit. And Carter was able to get a little bit of breathing room towards
Right.
the end. Not much though. I mean,
No,
if
it,
you weren't
it still
there,
were a couple
maybe
car lengths.
I was gonna say maybe 2 car lengths.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe.
But before
so-
that, he was on his bumper.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
was right there.
Yeah.
So Carter Taylor, Chase Hart, Evan Johnson, the
Mhm.
top 3. Bryce Castile 4th, Mason Robertson 5th, Cameron Mallett 6th, Mason Massey 7th, Gil Miles Jr. was 8th, Michael Miles was 9th, and Noah Davis, he had to pull off early. He had something happen to, I think his rear end, something broke with his rear end. I don't remember
Like a
what happened.
mount or something
Yeah,
broke because somebody said he kicked the car and that was
The
moving
whole thing
back and
shifted.
forth.
Like
yeah.
it looked like the whole, yeah.
And then unfortunately Trace Capers, he broke in the heat race. He did
Yeah,
not start
and
the
he didn't
feature.
get to start the feature. So
Yeah.
who knows how that could have wound up. He was fast in qualifying.
Yeah, he
so,
was.
more to come out of Trace Capers.
Right.
But as far as our other divisions, I mean, like we said, racing all over the place. The
Mhm.
Bandoleros, again, putting on a heck of a show, which we're racing all of our bandos together now.
Right.
And so Mason Massey, who we said was a bando last year, again a bando this year, just also racing legends, overall winner, and did a really good job. I felt like kind of kept a very good pace. Zoe Floyd,
He also was sideways for
a
most of
bunch.
the
Oh
night.
my goodness.
Yes.
I
he was.
remember hearing you
Yeah.
say like
Yeah.
Mason Massey's keeping the car under control. Then
He-
the very next corner it was sideways above
Yeah.
the 4.
He had a few really big wiggles
Mhm.
coming out of 4
A
and
few-
2. He had
A
a couple
few
out
my
of 2.
butt. He had a few in practice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he come out there and qualified, and still a little sideways. It got to the point to where, which we always hear, loose is fast. I mean,
Yes.
you hear Kyle Busch say it all the time.
Days of
And
Thunder.
Days of Thunder.
Loose is fast,
Um,
but on the edge, you're out of control.
That's
Car
right.
not slow, you slow.
But it
I,
got
I
to
say
the
that once
point.
a day.
The Kyle Busch thing,
Yeah.
whenever him and Braxton were talking.
I say
Yeah.
that once a day. It's like to myself, I'll be painting a cylinder at work. I'm
Just-
like, car not slow, you slow.
Just how like casually he put it to Braxton looked so defeated in that clip.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you said, it got to a point where I was telling the spectators and the fans, I was like, watch Mason Massey, because every time he comes out of Ford, he is fishtailing.
Yes.
That car is, I mean, he wasn't super sideways, but he was loose. You could tell. But he made it work, and
And
there
to-
wasn't no catching him.
To stay calm, cool, and collected and be able to keep that car, with it being as loose as it was, but to keep that car in a straight line, and to be able to even finish that race without spinning at all.
Mhm.
Especially how
Again,
fast
kudos to him.
that wall comes up coming out of Ford.
Oh,
Because
it comes up so fast.
it's on you before you
Yeah.
realize it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but kudos to Mason Massey. He ran a great race. Zoe Floyd, who had I think one spin late in the race.
Actually, I think she was leading whenever she did that spin.
I think you're right.
I think she took the lead and like
she
maybe
passed
once.
me and went into 1 and 2, and then kind of
Yeah.
you're right.
Yeah.
And
You're right.
so- But
And so
Just-
Zoe was
just
fast.
took the lead.
yeah,
like she just said.
she was one that kind of took advantage of my oversight on the choose rule
Yep.
because she chose outside.
Yeah.
Right after that.
And she was
Yeah.
the only one to choose
Yeah.
outside.
Yeah, and
And-
so that was the only kind of thing I was a little disappointed with the choose rule. Was a lot of people like to line up on the bottom, and I get it.
Yeah.
I'm a catfish whenever I'm in a race car. I want that bottom.
Right.
I don't want you don't want the outside. You're gonna wear stuff out, but if you can get a gap and you can get in, it works out really good for you. And I think she really played that to her favor.
Mhm.
And it might work out because there were a couple times last year, as we all know, at SSR, your bottom line is your fast line. But there have been multiple times last year that we've seen the top line work.
hmm
There have been some drivers that made it work.
Yeah.
And that might work out to their favor. We'll just have to see who's able to
Venture up there and make it work.
and pull it off.
Yeah. So another good shout out, or good job for Zoe Floyd. She did great Saturday night.
Yep.
Patrick Markowitz wound up third. Trip Evans in this patriotic 33. He's always got a very patriotic, beautiful scheme. He winds up
like it.
fourth. Yeah. And then Gil Miles the third, like you said, the bright red bando, round out the top five. Colton Murphy, hard hitting to the wall.
Very hard.
Very.
Yeah, it was glad to see him okay.
And that was I think somebody spun.
It was
It was Zoe. I think.
it
Yeah.
was Zoe's
That was
fun
about
coming out of
mid-race.
4.
Yep.
And
And so-
he went to Dodger.
Well, and there
he
was
went faster on the high
about a
side.
groove on the outside, and it's one of those things with the bandos. I don't know that they have front brakes. They may. I could be wrong, but I know that a lot of times the rear brakes lock up
Mhm.
and it'll slide, and so
It
I think
was,
he was going for that, locked the brakes up, and then it kind of overcorrected into the wall.
From
for him.
my point of view, it was a little less than a groove. Like it was probably
Yeah.
like a piece of paper thickness
Right, and
between
so-
the wall
and
and
you're-
Zoe.
You're coming up on that car sitting there very fast.
And you have to
and
make
you
a
have to
split
make a
second decision. Yeah.
and
And if you-
sometimes it just
yeah,
doesn't work
And if you
out.
snatch too hard to the inside, you're taking a chance of whipping the
Yeah.
backside straight
Right.
into the car. So you're trying everything you can to
Yeah, and just
not destroy the car.
bad place, bad timing.
Yes.
And I mean, he hit the wall a ton. I mean, it vibrated the ground.
Yeah.
He hit the wall hard
Well, it
enough to
knocked the-
shake.
knocked the right front tire
Yeah.
completely off the car.
And so, but it was good to see him climb out and and walk away under his
For
own
sure.
power.
Yeah.
Sure.
And then Ethan Caress wounded out the field for our bandos.
Yeah, a funny story with Ethan. We had that rain delay right after that wreck. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
we had about a 45-minute rain delay, and his dad said that he didn't think we were going to get the track back. That's the reason they didn't come back out for the
Really?
second half of the feature.
Yeah.
He was like, "Yeah, we already had it loaded up. Whenever we heard y'all call for it, I wasn't unloading it."
Yeah. Yeah, I forgot about that. I'm glad.
Yeah.
I'm glad you said something.
So I think he would have had a little bit better finish had that not been the case.
Right.
But yeah, he had his issues in the heat race. He'd spin, roof would come up, and just finding that
Yeah.
limit because all the bandos running together now. It's a little bit different. I think
Right.
they were in the beginner bando class last year, where we had about 2 to 3 cars on average.
Right.
And so now he's out there. He's running with some faster cars. He's getting a little bit more pace to himself to keep up with those cars. So finding that limit.
And
is
definitely going to
definitely-
push harder.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. But it was good to see Mason Massey in victory lane.
Mhm.
He fought all year to get there, but he had some tough competition
Yeah.
with Evan and Bryce and all them down there. So now he's found victory lane.
He's kind of the elder statesman. Him and Zoe are
and
the
the
ones that
Bandos,
yeah,
right?
have been in it the longest at this
Yeah.
point.
And of course, his sponsor, Agricola Hardware and Lumber, is our victory lane sponsor. So cool to see that
Yeah.
in victory lane. And speaking of sponsors, we're going to take a quick second and shout out our sponsors here from the Tower. We at From the Tower want to take a second and thank all of our amazing sponsors, the two of them we have right now. The first one, OEC Workplace Solutions. They donated us a very beautiful table to do our work on, so thank you to them. Go see them for all the other office supply needs, office furniture needs. They have multiple lines of furniture and different things you need for the office setting. Make sure you reach out to them and check them out. Also, All Star Graphics, Matt Hillhouse, our racer here at SSR, does a great job with the cars on track vinyl work, stickers, shirts, t-shirts, signs, yard signs. Has everything you need to make sure all your signage needs are taken care of. Thank you to our sponsors. And also, great racing from the senior champ class as well. The pro seniors and seniors mixed together again this year. William Wilson, just very fast. Matt Green was a fast qualifier, if I remember right.
I believe so.
Yeah.
No, William Wilson was. Remember, he went out on a single car run.
Oh, that's true. In past,
Matt Green and Patrick Mockowitz were drafting, and he still was faster than them.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And I know at one point Matt Green and William Wilson fighting for the lead. I don't remember how far into the race. Kind of tangled.
Early.
It was
That-
decently early.
They also had a couple battles there at the end. They swapped the lead back and forth coming in the final lap.
Yeah, but what I was getting to is that they made contact and they spun, and they both had to go to the back. You remember that? And so they had to go to the back. You don't remember that?
I put William Wilson in the back for running over the choose cone.
Is that what it was?
Yes.
I just remember them going to the back.
It was him and Hunter Lewis.
Hunter Lewis were both black
okay.
flag to the rear for not listening on the receiver and not indicating a choose clearly that you can't run over the center of the choose cone.
Gotcha. Okay. I just remember
that was why he went to the back.
He went to the back. I just remember, I thought he was involved in a crash or a spin anyway, but maybe okay. I remember that wrong. Sorry about that.
No, it's fine.
No,
That's the reason I was confused. I was like, I don't think he spun. But no, they gave him multiple chances on the radio. Hey, make sure you indicate clearly which side of the cone you're going to choose on.
Mm-hmm.
Drove over the center of it twice.
Yeah.
It's a new rule.
Right.
And it's one of those things to where, even if you can't hear me on the radio telling you it's choose lap, we went over the choose rule in the driver's meeting. When Davey holds up 2 sticks, it's time to choose.
Right.
You can't heed those. You go to the back.
Yeah, I mean, is it or is there not a rule that you're supposed to have a race receiver on?
It is a rule.
It is a rule.
We do a check before every race.
Right.
It is a required piece of your safety equipment.
I think the only ones are Mighty Mites.
Mighty Mites are the only division that do not wear them. Now, there are exceptions with the Bandos and the Legends where your spotter can wear yours.
Mm-hmm.
To where the driver's not getting talked over with the receiver and his radios. But you have to respond quickly to those commands, and you have to relay them quickly to your driver if you're the spotter listening.
Right.
So there are a little bit of an exception there, but at the same time, we do a test on the grid before every race to make sure they're working.
Right.
If they're not working, we give you time.
Right.
We try our best to, at least. We'll give you 2 or 3 chances to get it working. We'll try some more earbuds. We'll try this. We'll try that. We tell you to hold up a hand. If you just hold up the hand of the guy in front of you, but you can't hear, you may wind up with a black flag.
Right.
So,
I mean, it's a safety thing.
yes.
You're supposed to have it just in case.
It's a safety thing, and it's a race night, speed of the race night thing. If we have to stop you on track to give you instructions, that just slows the overall night of the pace of the night down.
Right.
The fans don't want to see that. They want to see you get into order.
Right.
And just listen.
Yeah.
That's all you got to do.
And I mean, we took a good, 5 or 10 minutes of trying to get them in order. And I know Davey had to hold up the 2 symbol, which is the choose lap now, multiple times. I mean, Davey's basically hanging over the edge of the flag stand like, guys, this is the choose lap. And even if they can't hear you.
I don't know if y'all noticed, but I would also wiggle them back and forth.
Right.
Like
to draw your attention to it.
Yeah.
Well, not just that, but hey, this is we need to pick a side. Are
Right.
you going low? Or are you going high?
Mhm.
Right. And it'd
It-
be
you
something
know.
to where, if we didn't address it in the drivers' meeting, what was going to happen with that,
It would be a little bit different.
we would have given them a little bit more leeway.
Right. I was fixing to say that. Like, it's obviously addressed in the drivers'
Yeah.
meeting. So
All 4 of them, actually.
right, and then there's a difference between putting a helmet on and being a driver, but not to the point of where you just forget everything, right?
Right.
I mean, you're here to race, sure,
Mhm.
and you don't want to lose a position because of that. But then again, you kind of have to follow the rules.
Yes. Everybody is susceptible to the rules, especially, and I'm probably going to be a little bit harder on the adults
Right,
just because you're an example to the kids.
right,
They look up to every one of these adult drivers as where they aspire to be one day.
right,
And because of that, we're gonna bring the hammer down a little bit harder on an adult than we would a kid. A kid may get a couple more chances.
right.
I know we had one kid that was having trouble hearing on the receiver that we gave a ton of chances to, and that they just couldn't get it to work. So
Right.
unfortunately, we let them go out in the heat race.
Mhm.
I will let you slide every now and then on something like that. We let them go out in the heat race. They had ample amount of time to get it addressed during intermission, during the rain delay.
Mhm.
They couldn't get it fixed. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to go out for the feature.
Yeah, and it's just unfortunate, like you said, thing.
Right.
But an easy fix. I mean, you just have to buy a receiver or
Mhm.
something like that.
Or
Maybe
try a different pair of earbuds.
earbuds. I was
something
fixing
like
to say
that.
it could
And
be the
it's-
earbuds.
If I'm not mistaken, I want to say it was a junior that was having a hard time
Right. It was a junior.
hearing.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, they did buy a couple sets of earpieces,
Yeah.
and I want to say they bought another receiver too.
I want to
That
say
night.
I did hear that.
Yeah.
But I don't want to misquote there.
Yeah.
Right,
They tried several things and they just weren't able to get it working.
right.
And unfortunately, I believe at that point of the night we'd already had the rain delay. It was
Yep.
already getting later, so we had to go.
Yeah.
I want to say I could be wrong, because I want to say Bandos were our second race.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yep, they
So
were.
we,
Yeah,
so
Mighty
we had
Mike's
already
Bandos,
had
yeah.
the
Yeah.
rain delay and all that put us way further behind on the night than we really wanted to be.
Right.
And a lot of our drivers have church on Sunday morning, so we needed to get it
And,
moving along.
Yeah.
As we said before, a lot of them come from out of town.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, and I want to say we finally got down out of there or 11:30, 11:45, something like that.
Yeah.
Way later
So,
than we like to.
I think it was
Yeah.
after midnight.
I-
It was.
I think we dropped the final checker flag before midnight,
Yeah.
but I think with all the after
Yeah, it's true.
after race things that we got to tidy up and do,
Right.
it was after midnight.
It was
before
after
we
midnight.
left.
Yeah. I think it was almost 12:30 in the morning before I got in the truck to leave the
Yeah.
track.
Yeah, for sure.
So
And those are the calls that you hate to have to make.
right.
Is whenever you have to set a kid out or you have to black flag a kid or something like that. But it's a necessary thing for the overall race night sometimes.
Right. That and the safety of the other drivers, So, I mean, like we said, William Wilson, Matt Green, they were the class of the senior champs Saturday night. They were fast. Patrick Michaelwitz, another year in the senior champs, again, a Bando driver and a senior champ kart driver.
He was our champion last year.
He was the
And-
champion and top three.
Yep.
So, right behind those guys. Austin Miles, he had a couple spins. I know kind of inhibit his night. Jeffrey Reed was fifth. Thomas Miller, Ethan Brooks. Ethan Brooks took a hard hit. Was that
and
practice?
qualifying?
Was
I
it
believe.
qualifying control practice? Backed it into the wall flat. The back
Yeah.
of his cart was flat.
Mhm.
He hit so hard. And he made it to the feature.
Yeah.
Kudos to him and his team for getting that fixed.
Yeah, I didn't realize he had come back to finish that well in the feature also.
Yeah, up to seventh.
Mhm.
Colby Wolford, Jason Maddox was ninth. Hunter Lewis, 10th. Rounds out the field. Noah Tanner and Matt Nelson were unable to make the call for the feature. But Noah Tanner was very fast too
Yeah.
early on in the night. Had
Yeah, he
engine
had-
trouble, I think, on the grid.
I
Something.
wouldn't start something like
Yeah.
that. Ridiculous speed in the heat race.
Oh,
though.
my goodness.
Made some very bold moves coming up through the pack. I think he went from like fifth to first, like
Mhm.
that, and just
Yeah.
very fast. But he's a former Legends driver. And
Yeah.
his dad is Don Tanner,
Mhm.
and he's in Alabama Auto Racing Hall of Fame for his pinstripe work. And so it's just really cool to see that family back out racing.
And it was done by Dawn, right?
Yeah, done
You
by
used to see
Dawn.
it across the windshield of almost every race car
Yeah.
at Mobile back in the day.
Yeah, for sure. And I actually saw Don Tanner in the stands the other night, which was really cool. He's a former, I want to say he's a former national or Alabama State Legends champion.
Really.
in the 90s,
Oh,
like in
wow.
the late 90s, whenever Legends was really taking off. They
Mhm.
they were traveling around doing a bunch of stuff with Legends.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Now, Davey, how does it feel whenever you're in the flag stand? Going back to Noah Tanner, and like you said, he was making some crazy moves. When you see somebody flying through the field like that, how ready are you on that yellow flag just in case? Because he was definitely booking it through the field
Right.
and making some crazy slicing moves.
I mean, of course, I have the caution flag in my hand at all times,
Mhm.
and I do get kind of antsy because whenever you see somebody slicing and dicing that way, typically they carry too much speed or more speed than they're used to.
Mhm.
So,
Or you misjudge a gap.
yeah,
And you think you're clear and you come down on
yeah.
somebody or
Right.
something like that.
Because I mean, if you're not used to the draft pulling you that hard to let you gain that speed, it can catch you by surprise, and we've all seen it.
Mhm.
Somebody's get more speed behind them than they're used to, and they lose the car or they misjudge.
Right.
So you do get a little bit antsy just anticipating it, but no, he held it together. So it was really relieving to me that I didn't have to throw that caution.
Yeah.
But it does get your blood pumping for sure.
Yeah, it's kind of, like we were saying, unfortunately he couldn't make the feature because I feel like he would have been definitely a factor at the front
Mhm.
with William Wilson and Matt Green.
Yeah.
And then so with that we go to our other kart division, junior champs. Man, Natalie Earhart, fast last year, champion last year, comes back and follows it up with another victory. But this time, I mean, it wasn't easy for her. Evan Goff
was
Oh
on
man,
her
he
bumper.
was right there the whole time. And they tangled in the heat race, right?
Yeah, coming to the checkered, coming out of 4. Evan, I think, just misjudged it
Mhm.
and got into her, turned her around. Natalie still recovered to finish 3rd in that race.
Right,
It was Bubba Foley got the win in the heat race.
right.
And so she was able to. I honestly think as soon as the green flag dropped, I think she went 3 wide and had the lead already whenever we went into the feature. So
Mhm. Yeah, and
and never looked back.
it never looked back. Yeah,
Evan got close. He
Couple
was within a
times.
couple car lengths a couple times. He was on her bumper a couple times, but he just never quite. They were so even on speed once she got out ahead of him.
Yeah.
He just couldn't.
Yeah,
Make him last.
he in the corners he was making the distance up a
Mhm.
little bit, but when she hit the straightaway, her straightaway speed, it's kind of crazy.
Yeah,
It's
and
fast.
I think that is a testament to Ryan and how
Yeah.
much he works on that cart to make it roll.
Right.
He works on that car
All
so
the
much.
time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and very proud dad.
Of course.
Who wouldn't be? But posting all over Facebook. I mean, rightfully so.
Yeah.
You coming back defending champion, you win the race, and he puts a lot of, like you said, time and effort into that cart. Very, very beautiful cart too.
Mhm.
The red and black skulls.
And she's very comfortable in that cart
Oh man.
because as many thumbs ups as she
Oh,
gives
yeah.
me in that flag stand,
It's
to be
She-
comfortable enough to take her hand off that steering wheel at the age that she is
She lets
crazy.
us know that she got the signal.
Right.
No matter what it is. If it's,
She makes sure that we know that
If
she
it's-
acknowledges us.
yes.
Right.
If it is halfway, if it's 5 to go, if it's
Yeah.
2 to go. I haven't seen the white flag thumbs up. She probably does.
She does sometimes,
Yeah.
but I also think it's
she's
how big of a lead does she have?
Yeah.
It's situation.
yeah.
It's the last lap. Like, okay, I got to get this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like if somebody's right there on her tail, and there's times she won't even throw the thumbs up at halfway or whatever, because of the situation that she's in.
Yeah.
But if she's comfortable enough with her position on that track, she's gonna let us know that she sees what we're trying to tell her.
Yeah.
For sure.
And,
So-
and again, at the
honestly-
age that she is, that's
Yeah.
unbelievable to acknowledge or just pay attention, but to also feel comfortable enough to throw that hand up.
Right. For
I
sure.
feel like that division has more speed this year.
I
It's
do
very
too.
fast.
They look
very
faster.
fast.
And one of the big things with that for me was the fact that they weren't just hugging the bottom.
No,
anymore.
they were coming up
They're
high out of the
actually
turns.
using the straightaway like the senior champs
Mm-hmm.
or the legends or the bandos. They're actually going up down the straightaway to be able to get the arch into the corner
Right.
because I feel like they're carrying more speed and they're just not able to hold it down
And
going straight in
I
anymore.
don't know if y'all could hear them, but they sound a lot different to me this year too.
Well, we did have that motor change over the off season.
Yeah, we did.
And I think that motor made a little bit more power. I think they evened
Yeah.
them out. I think they upped the power on the box stocks to kind of make it even.
Gotcha.
But like those motors, they sound like a runner. Like
Yeah.
they sound throatier whenever
Yeah.
they're running.
Yeah.
They'll backfire a little bit whenever you let
Mhm.
off. Like it sounds more like a racing motor. to
Yeah,
me.
definitely a little bit higher RPM. You can
Yes.
tell
For
because
sure,
it winds
for sure.
more coming
Yeah.
down the straightaway, and I'm sure Davey can hear it more than
Yeah.
we can. But yes, Natalie Earhart, great job Saturday night. Another win in her column. Evan Goff second. Bubba Foley rounded out the top three. Faith Finney, she came back after a couple spins, brand new to the track.
Right.
I think she's brand new to karts. Period, if I'm not
Yes,
mistaken.
first ever race.
Yeah,
First
and
ever race.
And for her to have the driving skill that she had, to have to go to the back a couple times because,
Yeah.
like you said, she did have those couple spins to be able to drive back through the field in her first race. Again, kudos to her.
Yeah.
She put on a really good show.
Yeah, and then coming back
up through.
first career top five, fourth place finish. Probably could have even been up there with Bubba Foley battling for third, if not for the couple spins.
Yeah.
Very
And a top five for your first race.
Absolutely.
That is a great accomplishment.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially in that particular division. It's very competitive.
For sure. Hadley Murphy with a top five finishes fifth. Uriah Fleming, Tate Waller, sixth and seventh. Jansen Lindy and Cale Eubanks not able to make the show. But that was
Cale was the one that had the receiver issues.
Yeah.
And that was what kept him out of the race.
Yeah.
Hopefully to have him back next race.
Right.
With the working receiver.
Yeah, and for anybody out there that that runs with us and has those receiver issues, we have a radio in the tower. All you have to do is if you're having issues before, like in the heat race, come to us at intermission. We'll help you test it out to make sure you can hear. Or like during that rain delay, there was ample time to get something working there.
Right.
Nobody really approached us. And so that's the reason I want to let people know. If you have an issue, come let us fix it before it gets into that moment to where we have to make that kind of decision.
For sure.
I mean, going back to Cale real quick, that was a super bright car.
Yeah.
You couldn't miss it.
It was a very pretty car.
I was about to say it was a very beautiful car, but it was so bright. I mean, it was right there with the Miles' cars, with how bright
the
it
shininess
was.
and everything. Yeah.
And we'll see how that progresses throughout the year because everyone knows you can have a shiny car, but halfway through the season, it's going to be a little dirty, I'm sure, unless you're out there cleaning it the whole time. And of course, our Mighty Might division, we don't want to leave them out. And for those of you who don't know, we don't score them. They don't have technically positions. We don't keep up with point standings or nothing like that. Just
the saying in the Mighty Mites is we don't have any winners, any losers.
Right.
We're learning how to race.
This is a learning division only.
These are kids that start at 4 years old.
Right.
And you don't want them to be worried about like, well, I got to get that position in front of me. I more want them to be worried about, well, I need to pay attention to what the flagman's doing.
Right.
I need to pay attention to the closing rates and how to pass and making sure of my car awareness. And
the last thing we want these kids to worry about is, chasing points, and they all, at the end of the night are learning.
Half the time, some of them can't even stay up late enough to get to the feature.
Right.
I remember several years ago, we had one little kid that he didn't make half the features that year because he'd already be asleep.
He'd be passed out.
Crashed out.
I mean, there's been times I've been wanting to come out the flag stand and take me a little cat nap during intermission sometimes.
For sure. For
That-
sure. Not with the drift cars, though.
No.
It had something to keep you entertained, keep the
Well,
blood pumping.
it caught me off guard this week because normally during intermission I'll go use the restroom real quick and then I'll come up to the tower and relax for just a couple minutes. But whenever I came out the restroom Saturday, the national anthem was playing.
Yeah.
And it caught me off guard tremendously.
Mhm.
So I went and stood beside John, and whenever it was done, I was like, "Hey, did they give a reason on why they're doing this?" And he explained everything to me, but it definitely caught me off guard. So, but I really wasn't tired Saturday night.
Yeah.
Somehow, some way. But of course, as y'all know, with summer fastly approaching, it's going to get hotter. The heat and the sun drains you of all of your energy.
Mhm.
So I'm sure
We don't have that problem.
not too long from now, I'm gonna be trying to get me a cot somewhere in there. I just have to get with Abe and see which room I can put it in.
My nice air conditioned room with a view I like it. Hey, you act like we haven't done your job. We've done your job.
Yeah, but y'all don't do it now.
We paid our
Don't-
time in the
don't-
flag stand.
It was still summertime when we did
Yeah.
it.
But you ever heard of this thing called global warming? It's getting
That's a
hotter
myth.
every year.
Yeah.
That's a myth, Greta.
It's no hotter 4 years ago than it is now. It's still hot.
Yeah,
No, I
Um,
mean, we had snow last year, for God's sake.
I know.
Like,
yeah.
come on.
But so our Mighty Mites, let's give them all a shout out. Obviously, no particular order here. Waylon Boster, Hudson Clark, Drew Golf, little brother of Evan Golf, now racing.
Yeah, it's
Cool.
really cool. It's always been Golf Brothers Racing, and now the brother is
Is
in
part,
effect.
playing a part.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then you got Rig and Rip Hudson.
Mhm.
They both brothers
Right.
again.
I
Rig.
think it was Rip's first time on track.
Yep.
Like first race on track.
Yep. The 3R and the 33R.
Mhm.
Cool to see them both out there. Laurel Lewis, who of course is Hunter Lewis's daughter.
Mhm.
Declan Stewart, Jacob Strickland, Tucker Waller, and Paisley Wilkerson. That's all of our
I believe-
10 Mighty Mites. It's a
Yeah,
good field.
I believe Jacob Strickland is the one that has the two-tone car.
Yes.
It's orange on one side, gray on the other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The first practice we had, that freaked Ginger out. She was like, "Who is that cart?" And I was like, "Same one as that cart." And she was like, "Oh, it's two different colors."
And Rip, just real fast, Rip graduated from the Tiny Mite.
Yeah, came from the
Did he?
Tiny Mites. Yeah.
So whenever his brother Rig started racing, during intermission, Rip would always go out and race the Tiny Mite.
When I know,
I remember him going out there a lot because Rig would go out there with him.
I think Rig came from the Tiny Mites too, and Waylon.
Waylon Boster, I know did.
Yeah.
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 I remember watching her.
And she had a super fast cart.
Yes, she
Yeah.
did. Yeah.
So now they get to do the real thing. That's super cool.
Yeah. Just to watch the kids grow up
Mhm.
and graduate from Tiny Mites to Mighty Mites to eventually junior champs, and then just watch them go up through the divisions. Same
Right.
thing going back to the legends from earlier,
Right.
watching Evan, Bryce, Mason, all of them.
I want to
Right.
say Tim
Graduate
has
up.
been there since
Yeah.
Yeah.
they have come up. Like, 'cause-
Yeah, because when I started, Zoe, Evan, Mason Massey
Mhm.
was in the junior champs. Like these kids that are racing bandos and legends now,
See, I
So-
can remember whenever Evan was in Mighty Mites
really.
because we used to actually do the standing starts in turns 4,
Yeah.
and that got changed because Evan couldn't see the flag stand from there.
Right.
And that
Which rightfully so.
yeah,
That's a
and
lot of
so
equipment.
and it's one of those things where I like it a lot better the way we do it now
Mhm.
because not only were they not facing the flag stand, they would be kind of in 3 and 4, so they're having to turn their neck and they're having to try and see from that distance.
Right.
It's hard to do,
Yeah.
especially with a heavy helmet on and all that. So it was a necessary rule change that I'm glad we made, to where we start them right there at the start finish line. We have somebody flag right there with them.
Right.
If something happens, they're on it very quickly.
Right.
And I've only been there. This is the start of my 3rd year,
Right.
but the few kids that I have seen graduate up or just grow in the sport in general, it always kind of warms my heart a little bit.
Yeah.
Like whenever you see Evan Johnson or Bryson Castile standing beside Rexton Bush
Yeah.
at the
Yeah.
Nationals and knowing like, hey, I flagged for him. Like,
Right.
like
Well,
it,
and
it
that's
just warms
what
your heart a little
makes me happy is whenever the kids that we try and instill good lessons into, they go
Yeah.
out and they impress on a national stage. like
Right.
that.
And so, and even furthermore to the point, kids that graduate from SSR and move to full body cars at Mobile,
Mhm.
getting to see them like Carter Taylor
Mhm.
and Kyler Bean and Caleb Sanford and all
Yep.
these other people that have raced at SSR and
Yeah.
have moved on, which SSR is off this weekend.
Mhm.
So Mobile's running. Mobile's got a pretty full schedule. I know, Logan, you're going to be in the tower. I'll be in the tower.
Yeah. Eddie called me yesterday, so I'll be race directing that race.
Okay.
Which is really cool. I like, putting in time over at Mobile. It's where I've always wanted to get to.
Right.
And so it's cool to be able to get those opportunities. I'm very thankful that they trust me with their racetrack whenever they give me those opportunities. But yeah, every division except for sprint cars.
Yeah.
That is a heck of a way to kick off a season.
7 divisions.
Yes.
Pure stocks, limited sportsmen, pro trucks,
Crowns.
crown stocks, late
Outlaws.
models, and
Yeah.
outlaws and
Yeah.
late models.
Yeah.
That's a heck of a show.
Yeah.
That's going to be a
So
busy
they-
Oh.
night.
Legacies.
Legacies as well.
And legacies,
yeah, legacies as well. I was just fixing to say we forgot the legacies.
Yeah.
Because Jackson Hout graduated from
Yep.
SSR.
Yep.
He's racing a
Jackson
legacy.
Hout will be
Yep.
in
Yeah.
the Legacy Saturday night. That Legacy class has grown up so much. It's crazy.
I think Eddie's helped that out a
Yeah,
lot.
and we talked about that
Yeah.
on his episode a little bit, but
The way he's
Um,
acquiring these cars
yeah.
and getting them
Right.
for people.
but just watching social medias, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? The day racing team we talked about, Finney
with their
Day
4
Racing,
cars.
4 cars now. Jackson Houck, and you got Mike Knotts and all them over in Texas that have several cars. That class is going to be it's fun to watch, and I can't wait for them to get to SSR.
Mhm.
Couple dates for them, but big night at Mobile.
sure.
And
Yep.
like I said, you'll be in the tower. I'll be announcing. Five Flags is also running. Big weekend
Yes.
this weekend. Super late models.
Mhm.
Some of the big names are coming down. Bubba Pollard. All these guys coming to race the ASA Tour
Yeah.
Saturday. They're racing Saturday too, right? Yeah, because
No, they're racing Friday.
Bill's gonna be trapped over there Saturday. Mr. Bill Ross.
Are they doing a 2-day show?
They are.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Because I saw where Carter had put on his Facebook he was running Friday night there and Saturday at
Mhm.
Mobile, so I didn't
The
realize they
super late models race Saturday, and so that's what Mr. Bill was telling me. He's gonna have to leave Five Flags and run to Mobile so he can be there. He won't be
Yeah.
there when everything starts.
Right.
But
Well, some of these big names got to get down here early and get ready for the snowball this year.
yeah, that's what they're doing, practicing for the snowball. But so Mobile this weekend, SSR back in 2 weeks on the 21st with
Right.
our normal nightly show. Can't wait to get to that. It's gonna be another fun night.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we incorporated fireworks
Yeah,
into
they
the show
did.
this
Yeah.
year. You
That
know?
was pretty cool.
My favorite thing, and this is just me personally, very old school kind of mentality I have. I love seeing those checkered flag victory laps.
Yes.
That was
Yeah.
something that they used to do in the 90s at Mobile. It was a rite of passage, all but.
Yeah.
And then I know my Mason Johnson
Mhm.
still does it, but my dad would do it.
Mhm.
Whenever he would win a race, he'd be over the radio, I want the flag.
Mhm.
And that's all he'd say. And I'd have to run up to victory lane, get with the photographer, like give him the flag whenever he pulls down there. And he wouldn't drop the net. And I remember the first time he did it was his first win in 06. His first win as an owner driver. We had drugged that car out of the weeds and we had fought all year in a really competitive sportsman division. And he said when he went through 1 and 2, he could hear the people in the infield cheering over the motor.
Mhm.
And he said it gave him goosebumps. It was one of the best experiences he's ever had.
Mhm.
And I can remember he was halfway down the back straightaway and he keyed up the radio. And you have a push to talk button. Most people have it on their steering wheel. That particular car, it was not on the steering wheel. It was over here to the right on the roll bar.
Mm.
And so he had one hand on the checkered flag holding it and one hand on the roll bar, and he was driving with his knee to be able to talk to me. And I was like, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
The car control he had to have
Yeah.
for that situation.
Well, speaking of the checkered flag victory lap, how about Carter Taylor driving backwards during
The
his
Polish
victory
victory
lap?
lap.
Yeah.
Yeah. Homage to Alan Kowicki. He's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
And it kind of gives the kids a little bit of a spotlight, you
Mhm.
know. Like we said, these kids put their time and effort into these cars, and just to be given a victory lap is
Mhm.
just a little bit more of, thank you for coming out and racing, and
Well, the
Great.
victory lap leading into the interviews.
Right.
Mhm.
Again, that's helping these kids get ready to graduate to Mobile or
Mhm.
Five Flags
Yeah.
or any of your big tracks that you're going to go to,
Yeah.
where they do interview the top 3.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
And you get to
again,
see
just
the
prepping them.
kids.
Right.
you know. That was another thing that me and Abe kind of talked about yesterday. We're going to make a couple changes there as far as we're probably not going to interview the juniors just because they can't really get their helmets off down
Right.
there.
It's a lot of safety, like you said.
There's nowhere for them to put them on that car. You know, a Legend car, you have room out in the interior. You can put your helmet, your Simpson, your Hutchins, whatever you're wearing in the car. The Bando, we saw a lot of the Bando drivers set their helmets on the back of the car, drive off with it. And then the more adult classes, they can kind of handle their stuff as they drive away and everything. The juniors, it's a little harder.
Right.
Yeah.
So we're still going to do their pictures and everything, but just not the interviews like we
Right.
were.
So, but like you said, it kind of gives them a chance to get a little more interview experience.
Yeah.
And again, all about, raising them up in the racing world and getting ready for the future.
Because being a race car driver is not just about driving.
No.
There's a lot of things that come with it.
Yeah.
And interviews is one of them.
Yeah,
So
especially nowadays.
So it's kind of like seat time.
Yeah.
The more seat time that you have, the better driver you're going to be.
Yeah.
The more interviews that you do,
The better.
the better you're going to be.
And
Yeah.
to be honest with you guys, and we've talked about it off air, but Carter Taylor, we
Mhm.
talked about how, you know, a few years ago this kid, he was so shy. He didn't want to talk.
One word answers.
Yeah,
Well,
yes
last
sir,
year,
no
whenever
sir.
we interviewed him on track, he
Mhm.
was kind of
Still
real
kinda-
short,
yeah.
you know, but whenever he came on last week, man, he
he
killed it.
yeah, crushed it. And just stuff like that. You know, you kind of see things clicking and
Mhm.
working together and coming together for the kids. Well, guys, you got any closing thoughts before we get out of here?
I don't
No,
personally.
I'm ready. I'm ready for a good show at Mobile,
Yeah, for sure.
and then another good show for SSR in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to tell everybody how appreciative we are for the feedback and everything we've gotten from the community thus far
Yeah,
on the podcast and everything.
Yeah.
That people have been super supportive. They've given us good ideas.
mhm,
A lot of people want to come on and tell their story.
right.
And so this is something we started as a passion project just to get people's names out there and get people a little bit more insight into the round track
Right.
world that we live. And so yeah, just definitely super thankful that
Just a-
everybody is.
Yeah, just another
participated.
platform, you know, just going through the results
Mhm.
and just listen everybody out because, you know, these names, you know, some of them from social media. Sure, you know, posted on Facebook, but another platform for our drivers in our track just to get a little more notoriety out there. So yeah, and for sure, and like you said, a lot of positive feedback,
Mhm.
and several people mentioned they want to come on and talk and be part of the podcast, and you know,
I know-
we'll reach out.
I
Don't
know-
worry.
Yeah, I know Bryce Castile was telling me like at the end of the night, the other night, he was like, "Do y'all have any more episodes?" I've listened to them all, and I was like, "That's cool though."
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
Even the younger kids are listening to the
Yeah.
podcast.
We appreciate you listening and tuning in. What we're doing is for the community, but and for y'all too. Like
Yeah.
we want to do this for y'all to help get the name out there, like Bryce Castile. Sure, people know Bryce Castile. He was in Victory Lane with Brexton Bush.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, Brexton Bush steals that spotlight a little bit because of who he is.
Right.
But
By
whatever.
the way, speaking of Bryson, amazing interview that he did with Legends Nation.
Yeah.
Like a week
Yeah,
ago.
for sure. Yeah.
A couple weeks ago at
Yeah.
Internationals.
Beautiful interview that was posted by Legends Nation. If you haven't seen it, please go check it out.
Yeah, definitely check out. Go follow Legends Nation.
For sure. They're a huge supporter of SSR, Legends, and Bandolero racing all over the country.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Just they do so much to bring publicity to this faction of racing.
Right,
And that's a huge thing, especially in today's thing of social media.
for sure.
Jason Buckley,
Mhm.
owner and proprietor of Legends Nation, just
Right.
does a ton with that. Interviews,
Mhm.
everything he can to just get people out there.
Yeah. So go follow Legends Nation. Go follow SSR Motorsports Park. Go follow Mobile International Speedway.
Did they
Go
change?
follow From the Tower.
Did they change the name on Facebook yet, or is it still Sunny South?
It
No,
still
it's
says Sunny South Raceway.
It does,
but the
but
logo.
the logo's
yeah.
changed. It does say Sunny South Raceway. I'm pretty sure they're working on all the social medias right now. So hang in there. Search Sunny South Raceway,
Mhm.
and I'm sure you'll see it pop up.
Yeah.
Follow From the Tower.
Mhm.
You know,
For sure.
We thank you to everybody that's followed us already.
Yeah.
I mean, we're almost at 250 followers already. So thank you all that's following.
Also, if you are listening to this podcast, please follow us on YouTube as well, because this is the first ever video episode that we're going
Right.
to put out.
Yep.
So
And TikTok.
And
Yeah.
TikTok.
TikTok. We don't have any video special there, but we're working on it. I think with us recording this,
Yeah.
we'll be able to get some more clips and stuff to post there. But
Yeah. Hence the
yeah.
reason we're bringing in video, so we
Yeah.
can kind of get some snippets, throw it on TikTok. And we all work full-time jobs.
Yeah.
And this is literally something we threw extra on the plate to help the track, help the drivers, help.
I mean,
Just
y'all
everybody.
y'all two came straight from work.
Absolutely.
To record
You still
this.
see my work shirt on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I don't have a work shirt. I've worked in my Sonic the Hedgehog shirt today.
you work for Sega. That's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
That would be awesome.
And
I would get all the free video games.
all the games. But again, thank y'all everybody for listening, and we will see y'all next time. Thank y'all for being part of the From the Tower family, and we love you guys.
Love y'all.
Love y'all.
Well, us from the Tower want to invite you guys to be part of our social medias. Please check out our Facebook page, From the Tower.
Yes.
TikTok, _the_tower. That's how we had to name it.
I believe so.
Yeah. YouTube page coming out soon, so check that out. One of our amazing sponsors and drivers at SSR, Matt Hillhouse,
All Star Graphics.
All Star Graphics. The moment we, announced our podcast and we had our logo ready, he reached out and was like, "I want to be part of this. What can I do for you guys?" And so we were like, "Can you make us some cool stickers?"
Yeah.
Because what goes good on a race car? A decal,
A cool sticker.
a cool sticker,
And
Stickers
not
go
only
cool on race cars,
coolers.
ice chests.
Yeah.
exactly. We gave one to TJ, our stop and go guy, to put on his cooler. We
That's
gave one
already
to my
stocked with stickers
yeah.
already.
We
Yeah.
gave one to my daughter, and then we
Mhm.
gave one to Carter Taylor, last week's guest, because he was one of our first guests to really have on there.
Yeah.
But the stickers, not only was the quality of them amazing, the size was incredible.
Oh my goodness.
I thought we were gonna have small stickers,
Like $50 size stickers.
yeah,
Yeah.
something like that, and then here's these softball size stickers, and
Yeah.
I'm like, this is awesome.
It's a beautiful sticker.
And I'm pretty proud of our logo that
Yeah,
we
I am
all
too.
worked together to come up with. It's
Mhm.
very patriotic.
Mhm.
It's also got the Alabama flag in there to show y'all where we're from.
Yep.
Right.
And so I'm really proud, and it transferred so well over to sticker form.
Over to the
So-
sticker.
So yeah, just make sure that you follow our socials because that's going to give you a chance to win one of those stickers, and all you have to do is follow.
Yep.
Because we will randomly ask people, "Hey, do you follow us on the social?" And if you do, you get a sticker to put
Yeah,
wherever
but you're
you
gonna
want
have to prove it to us.
Yeah, you do have to prove. You do have to prove.
Show
to,
us everything,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
then you may have a chance to win a sticker.
Yeah.
But no, seriously, thank you to Matt Hillhouse, All Star
For sure.
Graphics, for the beautiful stickers.
Yep.
And more to come from the tower.
Thank y'all.